welcome to Fantasy Football Host Reality. I am your host, Grg Romero Wilson, and this is the second draft special. Now that we're close to the draft, we're starting it off, and this is a special episode because right here we have genius comedian, great guy, and a hell of a good drinker. Ladies and gentlemen.
Number one.
Yes, put your hands together. Kabir Singh, everybody. Kabir Singh.
Thank you. How's it going, Greg? How's it going? Greg over here's a TV star. Every week I see you.
I'm working my way up the ladder.
I'm so pumped to be back for fantasy football, man. We need this.
Yeah. Oh, we need this bad. I really was kind of like, holding off on getting everything really going because I wanted to see if it actually happened. I'm interested to see if we actually finished the season. That I think is a big question mark.
That's true. But you know what? I think they're going to go above and beyond because the NBA, I know it was in a bubble. MLB is actually not – they got off to a rough start, but MLB is doing pretty good too. So,
I'm glad they made some of those mistakes and showed what could happen to football.
Very true, yes.
Because you know what? A lot of the teams now are self-quarantining, in hotels and stuff and creating their own bubble.
Absolutely, and they will do that. They will have to do that. And you know what? They're just going to have to suck it up for 17 weeks. They're kind of they got to do it for the world, to be honest with you.
They really do. And the team that can keep the lid on it the most is going to have a competitive advantage.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Which, as a Cowboys fan, I know that Dallas, it's the hardest thing for Cowboys players to keep it under wraps. It's not what Dallas does. Like Dallas, they suck these guys' dicks so hard.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
That it's impossible for them to not go out, but there's nowhere to go, luckily. Although Dallas.
They should have Vegas odds of which one of these teams are going to fuck it up for all of us. I get you guys would be the favorite.
We would be at the top of the list.
Minus 280, Dallas Cowboys, dickheads. And it would get a lot of action too.
It would see a lot of action. They got to put that up. Someone's got to put that up as a prop bet.
I'll do it.
Over at the Westgate or the Southgate or whatever.
Oh, yeah. We'll just start our own props for this. Yeah,
exactly. Start our own prop bet because somebody's going to fuck it up.
The NFL they have so much money at stake. I think that they're going to go above and beyond. Thankfully, our season starts in September, and I know it's still a mystery, this whole thing, but we've got a good amount of information. It's way better than what we had in March and April. So hopefully they have hired some of the best people in the world. They have infinite amount of resources and money to make sure the season goes through. I think it would be a disaster if they couldn't get through 17 weeks of sports while a lot of other places are doing it. So I'm really, really hopeful that the season will happen.
Well, that and they've already had a problem with one lab. So at least they're addressing that now, in the preseason too, making sure that all the labs are, they got to stay on top of it because they turn in, and that's, they got to get that final test now on Friday. So there's time to do a Saturday test.
Absolutely.
And
you've been on set. I shot a special for Hulu recently. You've been on set, and with us, we have to get tested before we, do that.
Exactly. You have to get tested before you do anything.
Even a false negative could just take a gazillion bucks out of your pocket. So they have to get this fixed, and they have to, they should be retesting. And I think they're getting tested every day, Greg.
Well, and that's the thing. Even if they come up with therapeutics that work, and even if they have a vaccine, I still think testing's not going to go away. I think it's still something that has to accelerate to the instant test kind of situation so that in particular situations, you can instant test everybody coming in the door.
You have to.
I don't think testing's going to go away. I think it's going to ramp up. I think we got to get
instant testing is especially with something like this, it's the dumbest thing in the world that you have to wait 4 days because you could have gotten your negative results and you could have already gotten it at Burger King
that's what exactly. Like the fact that they're kind of hoping to not have to ever focus on. It's like, no, we need to focus on testing because that's even once we have the vaccine. I think it's going to be a vital component to going forward with anything.
Absolutely.
Is having instant testing or as close to instant testing as possible.
100%. And then I think that the NBA, again, I'll point my fingers to the NBA. They're getting tested every morning. They're getting the results about 4 hours before the game. And again, I think if anybody could do it, the NFL has unlimited amount of resource to do it. People like you and I get it. But these guys, they should be able to handle this. I'd be very disappointed in the NFL if they fuck this up.
Yeah, I know. But that's why even in our league, I put it out there, the threshold is 10 games. If you think about it, we get through 10 weeks and then this whole thing blows up. Okay, 10 weeks and you're number one, I think you deserve to go ahead and have your champion. You get the versus, I know we don't get to have a whole thing, but I think we should crown. You don't want to throw away 10 weeks. I mean, that's a pretty good run.
It's 100% correct. I think all fantasy football leagues should take that. I think 10 weeks is enough because it's not even about going on a good run. Even if you come in second and third, the amount of time that you spent in 10 weeks just getting your shit together.
And the regular season's only 13 weeks. There would only have been 3 more weeks to the season anyway.
Exactly.
So I feel like I just feel like these certain leagues are trying to say no matter what, if they don't finish the season, we don't finish the season. I'm like, that's really not fair to the guys that are going to be at the top who drafted right, because it doesn't repeat itself.
No,
automatically get this again. So you're just ripping off the guys who had it. Listen, if you're going to have a draft, you should crown at least. At 10 weeks, I think you deserve a championship.
I think 10 weeks is the perfect number. I really do. I think that 10 weeks is the perfect number. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Every league should adopt that.
And this brings up another interesting question that came up while I was playing poker. We're all wasted. I'm with fantasy football guys. We're talking about the season. And someone says, is Ezekiel Elliott the true number 1 pick because he's already had COVID?
If Christian McCaffrey wasn't such a super stud beast in all PPR forms to a point of where it's not even funny, I'd say that. But I still got Christian number 1. And also, it's not 100% sure that you can't get it again. I mean, we're just assuming people can.
No, you're right. They just had the first case in Hong Kong where someone reinfected.
Yeah, and again, we have no idea how many people have had it twice. I think you're an idiot if you get it twice, just for the record. I think the easiest way to get it twice is from having it once and being fine. And you feel good about it.
You feel like you can't get it again, so you just decide to, do whatever, and then boom, you get it again, and this time it ain't so nice to you.
Yeah, I could see that why Zeke value would go up, but to be the true number 1, I think Christian McCaffrey is just one step ahead of everybody right now. Because
when we're doing, let's get into players we absolutely love, and for me, Christian McCaffrey isn't one of them because there's so much changeover over there, from the quarterback to the coach to the system. Everything changed. Now no preseason. That's a lot of X factors for someone that you're picking number 1 overall.
I totally agree, man. But I just think that when you have somebody like Christian, your whole game plan is going to go through him anyway. I don't think there's going to be a new coach and be like, let's stay away from get away from this guy. I think
that's a very valid point. And he's a college guy, so he wants to do a lot of play action.
Oh, yeah. And I think they have an upgrade in quarterback, too, right?
Absolutely, Teddy Bridgewater. Huge upgrade
He's
versus
a check down guy, too. He's a check down guy. You saw him what he did with Kamara over in New Orleans as well. It wasn't like he wasn't getting his numbers when Drew Brees was out. So, in my opinion, I think you're right if it was like a rookie quarterback or just a coach that there was just a lot of factors. Don't get me wrong. I think that you have great points about that. But I just think that his numbers from the guy number 2 was just so crazy.
No, it was, and what he accomplished. But I got to tell you, that's what scares me about him. That's why I don't love him. And as someone who has the first pick in one of my leagues, in my league of record, I will probably go ahead and press the button because it's hard for me to sit there and look at the face of all the experts and be like, although the guy that I would
done it before though.
I have too. Last year I pulled the button on number 1 Saquon Barkley, and he wound up injured and not giving me what I wanted. So,
100% exactly what I did.
Yes.
Yeah. I would have won me the league. I mean, there was so many options. But see, sometimes you get cute and you just mess up. Sometimes.
Sometimes. But that brings me. Okay, so talking about players we absolutely love. I absolutely love Saquon Barkley this season. He's coming off an injury, so he wants to prove that he is one of the best ever. And Jason Garrett, Zeke Elliott's best seasons were when Jason Garrett was the offensive coordinator. And now, he's the offensive coordinator for Saquon Barkley. He doesn't have to worry about being the head coach. He can focus on and talk about someone is going to put the offense through that guy.
No, I agree.
To me, that is slam dunk guaranteed.
Right. But see, for me, people that I love I usually make a rankings of the players that I love, and it's usually never those guys the same. I don't think you could go extremely wrong with any of the top 12 players. I think that you're just going to have to get lucky sometimes.
Yeah.
There are a lot of players that I love that to love somebody, I really like the value in players that you can get.
No, I see that too. Yeah.
Like, I mean, Brandon Cooks, that's a guy is like, his ADP is like, what is it? I think I have it over here. It's like 7. I mean, he's a 36 wide receiver.
Yeah, it's
36.
very low. I know, and he's stepping into Houston with Deshaun Watson, who has no other number one option. Will Fuller can't stay on the field. Randall Cobb has been routinely disappointed, although they're saying they're going to use him a lot more this season. But you're right. I've got him down here in my sneaky picks, Brandon Cooks, because he's going to be a true wide receiver 1.
And you could literally miss on them too, because you're getting them way down there.
You're getting them in the 6th, 7th, 8th round.
Yeah, and at that point, you should already have your stud wide receiver and 2 really good running backs. So this guy, if he ends up being a really good wide receiver, you got him at 2 or a flex, get out of here. That's amazing.
I agree with that. He's in my sneaky picks category.
And I think, I don't know. It's hard to say love with this guy, but I think Todd Gurley just needed a change of scenery, man. I don't know what was going on with him with the Rams. I don't really trust that coach to begin with.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Who was that quarterback in Atlanta that had that big-ass year? Was that Freeman?
Oh, yeah, Devonta Freeman, yeah.
Right. I have a weird thing about Atlanta where I think they really do once in a while, every couple of years, there's a new running back that just blows up on that team because Matt throws it a lot and, there's a lot of room for running. I think Todd Gurley is going to get a resurgence over Atlanta. So that's another guy that I really love. Another value guy, too.
See, for me, Matt Gurley, I literally have on the borderline of both someone I don't trust and someone I see as a bounce back that I'm willing to take a shot on.
Yeah, and it's not a big shot, too. You got to take it with a grain of salt. Again, you're getting them way later, man. Now
you're getting him in the 4th round, 4th, 5th round, which isn't 4th round generally, but that would
really? I thought he was going a little later.
No, he's because the running back division is so thin. He's going around the 4th round.
But then again, he should not be your second. Again, it's going to be tough in the 4th round, actually. But he really shouldn't be your second best running back either. I mean, he would be if you have a solid motherfucker at 1. Yeah. But I like him better than there's a lot of rookies that are going way too early too. Like Eckler, I have no idea who these rookies are. I mean, again,
Eckler isn't a rookie. He was, I guess, last season, but he is someone who's finally now they're elevating him to RB1 status.
To RB1. And he had big numbers though when he did play though. I do remember that.
No, he did, but I felt like he was great when he was like in a relief role and you knew Melvin Gordon was coming. And then when Melvin Gordon came back, neither one of them played particularly well.
No. Yeah, that's true.
And so I'm not sure. And also with Eckler, my big warning sign on Eckler is, who are his quarterbacks? Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
they
ridiculous.
Are going to stack the box and force both those idiots to throw.
But both those idiots. Hey, the one guy's an Oregon Duck, all right? Lay off of Herbert. But no, I agree with you. There's a lot of change on running back, man. I was looking at that list again, but see, this is why I trust Todd Gurley a little bit more than those guys. And, Melvin Gordon going to Denver, too, which is another weird one, which I have no idea what to expect. You got Lindsey back there already.
Yeah, I know. It's very weird, which you do really – it's a crapshoot on one or the other. It's almost –
I'm telling everybody basically my strategy right now is when I'm drafting, I'm getting the 2 best available running backs back-to-back. Because then when you start getting into those guys and you need one of those guys to be your number 2, you are going to be – you're playing the lottery.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, when the RB2 that I love, which I don't think I'm going to be able to get because of my positioning, I have 1st pick and 4th pick. 4th pick in our league.
Right, 4th, okay.
And so there's no way he's still going to be there when it comes back around that far. Yep. And that's Kenyon Drake.
Drake, okay, yeah.
I think Kenyon Drake, he lit it up. And now with Nuke Hopkins – and you still have Fitzgerald,
right?
And Kyler Murray, another guy. I love Kyler Murray this season. I think it's going to be lightning time for Kenyon Drake.
Well, when do you think you could get him though? Because I'm in my league. I'm in a bunch of leagues where I'm picking 9th and stuff like that. And I was looking at that, but I also kind of like Nick Chubb too. I think he's a pretty good solid.
I think you can pick up Kenyon Drake at the top of the 2nd round
and get Chubb on the way back.
Or I think
I'm going back-to-back running backs. I don't give a shit.
But the thing is, Chubb, okay.
If Kenyon Drake is a beast and Chubb is my number 2, that's a good thing about going back-to-back running backs.
Yeah, if you do, because Kenyon Drake he's gonna have the receiving, he's gonna have the rushing, he's gonna light it up. Chubb,
they both have high fours.
The Kareem Hunt thing, though, is very real.
You don't think I'm not gonna? I'm gonna go Kareem Hunt later too.
Me too. Now he's a deep value pick. He is a deep value pick because he was being a clear distant number 2, was still picking up 20 points a game in fantasy last year at the end of the season.
That's true. But see, I like Nick Chubb better than I like him better than Sanders. I'm more worried about Sanders over there in Philly.
Stay away from Sanders.
I'm not going to touch that. So we're talking you're going to have to make a decision between those 3 or 4 running backs, though, right? So I got Chubb up there and Kenyon, and then it's going to be weird, man. That Kansas City rookie is going 6 and 7. Well,
I got to tell you, in my number 4 pick in our league, if for some reason I don't get Zeke, because they don't fall for Michael Thomas, I'm not taking Michael Thomas.
No,
but I am. It's probably either going to be Derrick Henry, who I love, but he has no receiving upside, or I might go with Clyde Hilaire because of the fact that he has giant receiving and running upside.
Yeah, I'm just worried about that, man. I mean, that's going to be his first game in the NFL, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But over the season, he could be just and the other thing is Dalvin Cook, again, the guy loves getting
I hate Dalvin Cook.
Ending injuries. He survived. He had an amazing season last year, which all that says to me is he's due for a season-ending injury.
Yeah, he's not doing that twice in a row.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's a risky move to get that KC as your I mean, you're going to have to come back and get some you're not going to be able to. I do like Henry, though. I think at 4, yeah.
I just love watching him run on Sundays, man. If you have any reason, and I feel like they just figured out how to use him in the second half of last season, which is just keep giving him the ball, just let him grind it and bound it back, and then it breaks.
Yeah, they don't even disguise that they're going to do anything else.
Oh, not anymore. No, absolutely not. They're like, this is what we're going to do until it works.
Yeah, and you get that. I mean, you're going to get so many carries with that guy. I mean, his touchdown, but you're right, though. He doesn't catch the ball, does he?
Not at all. Almost not at all. Although they've been saying this year they're going to – but no, they're not. They're not going to pass. He's not a pass-catching back. That's not who he is. But I love watching him run. And if I have him on 2 teams, I'm definitely not – unhappy about that.
No, he's solid, but at the 4, I mean, the chances are you're not going to get Zeke, though. Somebody in our league is going to cock-block you. I know that, just to cock-block you.
Maybe so. I don't know because Michael Thomas has all the hype, and he's right there. We'll see. And you know how goofy our league is. Because it's all comedians who think they know something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and it's great. Sometimes
remember Renee Garcia picked Todd Gurley number 1 overall last season? It's like,
you didn't even think about it. Sometimes there's a couple seconds off the clock. He's just
he walked up there like George Jefferson, too. Like, you motherfuckers fucked up now. Fucking Todd Gurley. And I was like, Saquon Barkley, because I had picked him.
Todd Gurley had like 5 points that year.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But, I agree, though. It is really hard, especially in fantasy football, because you're probably in some other ones where there's probably like some high money pros that are like going crazy with it.
Oh, yeah. No, my league of record is a very competitive. Right. Everybody's super into it. Like everybody tough analysis situation. Yeah. It's a great league. That's it. But, our comedians league is a tough league, too, because
it is a tough league.
It's a 12-team league, and everybody in it is pretty engaged.
Of course they are. And then not only that, I mean, despite like some crazy-ass moves, it's actually harder to draft when you have some unpredictability. I mean, you're going over there and you're mock drafting all week. And
and that's never how it goes.
Oh, by the third round.
Flies out the window.
Yeah. By round 3, you just realize you wasted 800 mock drafts on this dumbass. And you just sit there.
And somebody took Mahomes in the first round.
Yeah.
It's like, well, okay, the whole thing's off now.
Yeah, like 8 minutes later, you're like reaching 2 rounds up. You're like, but
yeah, like Jay Hollingsworth. I used to always take Tom Brady in the first round.
Oh yeah. Jay shouldn't be allowed to do anything gambling related.
And now maybe he might do it again this year, even though, now that he's down in Tampa Bay. We'll see.
Who's got the first pick?
James Fry, who last year had both Lamar Jackson and Christian McCaffrey and failed to win, to make the Final Four.
That's insane.
It's insane.
Only James could make that happen.
I was like, how did he? Because he was the points leader of many
the whole
weeks.
time. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that happens. That happens.
And then he just collapsed. I don't know what he did wrong, but he collapsed down the stretch with that talent.
It sucks, too. I've been in that situation. There was a couple leagues, high money leagues that I did like 3 years ago where I went undefeated in the regular season and lost in the Super Bowl. And it was like, I did that with – it's the worst. Two or three different times that has happened to me where I was just destroying my high school league. And then no matter what. Same league twice, actually.
And that's usually what happens is the regular season dominator stumbles in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You can count on that every season, except for last year. This one cocksucker talking shit all season long, winning all season long, and then he fucking wins the whole thing too. God damn it.
Yeah, it never happens for you. It always happens to that asshole. But no, it's going to be very interesting. I'm in another keeper league where I'm going to be keeping Russell Wilson, who's great, who actually won me that league last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I must have had him in like the 11th or 13th round or something like that. And this guy is actually going way earlier. So
now he's going way earlier than that. He's like the number 3 quarterback on the board right now.
Exactly. So. That guy won me my league last year. And I had a couple other really good options on that though. But what are your thoughts about like Ben Roethlisberger? Because that wide receiver that they had over there, who when Antonio Brown left, that guy was supposed to be the stud over the last few years.
Juju, yeah.
And now I think he's being undervalued, to be very honest.
I think all of Pittsburgh is in the bounce back value pick category.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because James Conner was injured and didn't play well because they were obviously stacking the box because they were up against Duck Hodges or whoever, and Randolph or Rudolph or whatever. Yeah. So they were just all on his ass. And that guy, of course, it's so funny. Everyone's high on Deontay Johnson coming into this season. But what they have to remember is that the number 3 receiver does great with a backup quarterback because that's who they practice with.
Right, exactly.
That's where the chemistry is.
True.
So he has no chemistry with Juju.
No, he does not.
Now, Ben comes back. He's rejuvenated. He's trimmed down. He's focused, and he's healed up. You're talking about a dangerous Ben Roethlisberger.
And that's why I brought them up, man. I got those guys circled. I mean, I like Connor too, but I love Juju right now, man. I've got him. He is getting dropped in all the mock drafts that I've been doing lately.
See, not for me. Here's the thing. I don't, because of my position on the left side of the draft board, because doing the running back thing, to me, when you get to that 3rd round and you're looking at all the players before it comes back around to you the next time, to me, Juju Smith is the best wide receiver in that collection.
Yeah, and that's what I've been looking at because I'm the 9th pick in the big money league, and every time he's right there, and he's a little bit below on the list, but I am snatching him up every time.
I'm with you. Get Juju.
If you're going running back, you cannot fuck up on your wide receivers.
Right, you have to get a great wide receiver right there.
Another one.
Right, and then you got to follow it up. But see, there's so much depth down in the 5-6 realm of these wide receivers. Where you have Stephon Diggs and Brandon Cooks and Devontae Adams, or not Devontae Parker. There's a lot of good, deep wide receiver twos, in my opinion.
What I do is in this particular league that I'm in, the 9 spot, there's 12 players, and I've been going running back, wide receiver, running back, and then just slamming out wide receivers because I have to flex. I'm always going to flex a running back. It's only a half point PPR.
Right.
I got to get these running backs, and I'm telling you, I'm getting these insane wide receivers, and then I always kick myself when I do it the other way. When I'm in around 6 and 7, I'm still looking at the board with these wide receivers. I'm like, why the fuck did I grab this guy like 2 rounds ago,
There are 2 guys, though. There are 2 guys that are resting a little deeper down there in terms of running backs that I think I mean I'm in one league in the league where I have first pick. I'm tempted to take them back to back on an end cap, like go running back, and then like quarterback, tight end, and then wide receivers, or no, these guys, and then deep wide receivers, something like that. But it's David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, Le'Veon. I've been looking at Le'Veon Bell a lot. I haven't seen a lot of David Johnson. People have been reaching for David Johnson for some reason. But Le'Veon Bell is where he's supposed to be going, actually. And
Because David Johnson's put a lot of noise out there about how, he's ready to prove the doubters wrong. This is the bounce back he's been looking for. And listen, we've been waiting for this bounce back season for 3 seasons.
Oh, yeah. And people have been investing top 3 picks on him repeatedly. So it's actually very sexy to get him in that kind of range.
One of my seasons when he broke his hand in game 1. Third quarter, game 1, and my number 1 overall pick.
Oh, yeah.
Broke his hand and was out for the season.
Oh, yeah. When the Super Bowl was in Santa Clara, I think that was the year right before he blew up. And then I basically spoke to him for 5 minutes, and all my bad luck went on him, and we never heard from him again.
So guys that I'm really afraid of, guys that I'm not buying into, are like Joe Mixon. How does this guy stay in the mix at the top of the list? So many, what's he done to deserve it?
Nothing. And then you know what? People squares that play fantasy football that just go off the ESPN rankings, they're getting fucked with them every year. It's the same fantasy football guy in every league. Different person, same guy that ends up with Joe Mixon and then talks about it like he just fucked a model. Totally. It's great. It's the same guy. And I yell at that same guy every time. And I'm like, look at this goofy smile. And I just want to say, it's like, are you just reading off the guys? Watch him play.
Yeah.
And then tell me you want it. Go watch tape just last year.
Yeah.
9-10. Every year. He's going 8-10, top 10, every year. And the guy does nothing. I've never seen anything like it.
I know. And people love it every year. I'm always glad to see that guy when he takes him off the board. And I'm like, you guys don't know. He's good. And I'm like,
nothing.
Please, God, this is the same guy that used to draft Giovanni Bernard. This is the same guy, they used to.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, if you believe in him, please. Thank you for leaving extra pieces on the board for me.
No, absolutely. And it's so funny that you mentioned that guy, too, because that is definitely on my list of I do not fuck with at all is Joe Mixon right there. He's probably at the top of it, like yours.
Another guy that's getting hype in the wide receiver category that's going in the 3rd round is Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson.
Chicago.
Is that your? Oh yeah.
A-Rob.
Yeah.
And
just look at the quarterback.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you can't do that.
You're nothing without a quarterback, and they have Nick Foles and Trubisky, and unless Trubisky pulls a Jared Goff this year, which I actually would love that to happen. I thought he had tremendous potential going into last season, and then just fucking shit the bed.
That guy shit in bed every week right now.
Shit the bed. It was awful.
That's tough. Allen Robinson, what's his ADP right now?
Somewhere in the 3rd round.
Oh, wow. Ew.
Yeah.
No,
I'm telling you, he's going really high.
That's hella high.
And I'm like, I don't, you know what? I need to see more. And people are like, but don't you, he ended last season, I guess, wide receiver 8. And they're like, don't you think that makes him quarterback proof? And I'm like, no. Just look at what happened with Nuke Hopkins. Everyone said he was quarterback proof, and then they gave him Brock Osweiler.
No, I mean, yes, that is true. I mean, that's rough. I'm not a big fan of his, too. People that are slightly overrated, too, I like that Boyd kid from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I think he's going a little high, too, because A.J. Green, remind me, is he still in Cincinnati? Or he's out of
He is, but once again, he's already dealing with an injury.
Not only that, but he is getting drafted way down there, bro. And I think that eventually when it stops and it stops lingering and he starts becoming kind of the guy in Cincinnati, you're going to get fucked with Boyd in the playoffs. Because then A.J. Green's going to get all the targets. And now you just
that's the thing. When you have a brand new rookie quarterback, you just don't know who he's going to jive with. Because they also still have John Ross.
John Ross.
John Ross. I mean, we just don't know. That's the big mystery there. It could be.
True.
I could see John Ross being the guy that he really has that chemistry with, and that is John Ross.
So I think overall, everybody should just stay away from all the wide receivers in Cincinnati.
Yes, stay away from them. They are radioactive.
But Boyd is going pretty early, considering I mean, I was looking at that. That's why I think he's on my shit list. I would not fuck with anybody.
Yeah, I know he's on my do not trust list as well.
That whole team, Mixon's right there too.
Yeah. Now yeah, exactly. They're all guys. That whole team. You just don't know what you're getting. Even Joe Burrow, if you wanted to draft a quarterback in like dynasty, you don't know. I'm not sold on Joe Burrow. He had one great season, which we've seen so many of these quarterbacks with one great season and then come into
That's true. He looks legit, though, man. I think it's not a great season. It was a historic season, college football-wise.
Vince Young, Tim Couch, I
like Burrow. I think Burrow is going to be a really, really good NFL quarterback. I think he's going to be anything in the realm of fantasy football in year one, obviously. But I think overall, I think he'll be a decent football player. And again, you're right, though. You want to stay away from that whole offense.
You don't want to. You definitely don't want to go.
I'm not big on all the wide receivers in Seattle too. No matter how much I love Russell Wilson.
To me, one of the guys I love, which we didn't get to, DK Metcalf.
I love him too because his. But again, I mean, I don't know what to do.
He's at a value price, and I don't care. Tyler Lockett was the man.
Right.
DK Metcalf is the man.
Well, I know Lockett is going way too early. That's for goddamn.
They're good. They're betting on him early, and I'm like, no. You saw the chemistry in the playoffs. It happened. The trust factor's there. I think it's DK all day. This year, it's going to be an amazing. I think he finishes top 12.
But here's why I avoid I watch all the Seattle games, man, and they just don't throw the ball. It's run. And then he'll do one bomb, and God knows who's catching that. If he doesn't get like his 2 bombs a game, you're sitting there with 2 points.
I think it's DK was very productive last season.
I think the second half of the season. First half of the season.
Well, he was a rookie. He was learning.
I mean, you got to wait for it to come through. But I'm telling you, man, I've watched the Seattle games, and I absolutely cannot watch any of my fantasy football players on that offense. They just keep running it.
What about Chris Carson then? I mean, can you trust him?
No.
Are you loving him? Are you in favor? What?
I just think that them bringing in Carlos Hyde, too, is kind of a situation where they can splitting back and they still got Penny. I mean, I don't know why people even want to have that headache. But there's so many other people on the board.
Chris Carson actually was a pretty productive. I mean, he was 1,000-yard runner.
You have other choices, right? Yeah, he's great. But, you got Hyde over there. You got, like, 2 other guys that are good.
And I think they drafted a rookie, too.
Again?
Yeah.
Because Rashad Penny was the rookie, like, a year ago, right?
Yeah. 2 years
ago. They did it again. Another guy.
I think they drafted a rookie running back as well.
It's amazing.
As well as brought in Carlos Hyde.
And Carlos Hyde. And Carlos Hyde thinks, Carlos Hyde's is an egotistical guy.
Listen, that guy has never produced up to his potential. I
remember him in Houston. I took a
people talked about him. I don't know when he was in San Francisco. Yeah. And people were drafting him in the first round and second round. Okay. And I'm like, based on what?
No, it is insane. When you're going with running backs, though, my thing is you got to get 2 studs, dude. 2 guys that you don't have to worry about, that is going to get the ball. I know it's easier said than done, but you have that opportunity in the first round. Grab your 2 first running backs, so you don't have to have Chris Carson as your 2
right, and that's why I'm afraid Zeke isn't going to fall to me at 4. And I'm going to have to make a really tough choice. Do I take Kamara?
One of those. Yeah.
Do I take Kamara? Do I take Cook? I don't think I'm taking Dalvin Cook. Derrick Henry I love. Or do I take Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which is a real, but I mean, you're talking to a guy who drafted Saquon Barkley when he was a rookie, number 3 overall.
Right. And Kamara, I got Kamara ranked over. I got Kamara right there at 4.
It probably would be Kamara. I mean, that is where I'm leaning. Because it's just such a crapshoot with the other guy. Yeah. With Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
Yeah. I mean, I listen, at 8-9, that's a steal. If he's over there in 8-9, I think it's a risk. 4. I know. 4, 5, and 6. I mean, he's going in a lot of the mouths, he's going 5 and 6.
Yeah, right, absolutely. No, he's jumping right. He's jumping Derrick Henry in a lot of drafts. He's jumping down.
Which is insane. Yeah, that's
people are, because of the offense he's jumping into and the fact that Damian Williams opted out. So it's not like he even has to win the job.
No, he doesn't.
Everyone's saying that he looks fantastic.
It's insane. You're either going to win that's boom or bust for me, man. I think his floor, it's going to be really tough. This guy's either going to be the shit or not. It could ruin your team, though, if you get him 4th and he's just not doing shit. Yeah. But it could win you a league if you get him 6 or something like that, and you come back and get somebody more solid. So it's going to be impressive. Again, this is the worst year to do fantasy. It's so hard to do fantasy football right now because we can't even – we
don't even see them in action in, pretend action,
Exactly. That's why I'm telling all these, newbies to jump in. You got the same amount of chances as everybody now.
No, exactly. It is so much of a crapshoot without being able to see any dress rehearsals of any kind. And that's the other thing. People are like, oh, it will reduce injuries. And I'm like, no, I think this is a recipe for increasing injuries when your first game, your first hits are full speed.
It's insane, dude. And not only that, our number one rule as fantasy football players is that you can't go off of last year's results. We have nothing else to go for. There's no other thing that we can do is other than look at what they did last year and what's going to happen. This is great for sports betting, too. There's going to be a lot of money to be made this year.
Yeah, well, a lot of money to be lost, too, because, again,
true.
A lot of mystery.
Yeah, a lot of mystery, but at least it's a mystery for the bookmakers, too. You know what I'm saying? Because those guys
exactly.
Absolutely.
It's
probably the closest edge you could get, but fantasy football is going to be nuts.
So let's talk about two injured players that are back, that look like they're in good positions. T.Y. Hilton, Rob Gronkowski. What are your feelings?
So I listen. Rob Gronkowski is going really, really late in drafts. I mean,
I know. I'm grabbing him. Like when I see him still sitting there, I'm snatching him up. Not as my tight end 1, but as my tight end 2.
100%. You know what? And by the way, just out of that group of tight ends, I mean, there's a big decline after the fourth guy. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then boop, it really just falls out.
Yeah.
I think Rob Gronkowski is going to do really well, mainly because he just has chemistry with Tom. I've also never been a big OJ Howard fan, who I've accidentally bought into that son of a bitch twice. He just sat there and took a shit on me and my family for no reason. He doesn't even know who I am. And he's done nothing but be disrespectful to me in front of my family. So I would take Rob Gronkowski just to say, fuck you, OJ. Because I know the guy, he's not shit. And this guy was a 3-4 tight end. I mean, I was grabbing him early. Fuck me, 2 years in a row. I like Rob Gronkowski a little bit better. I think he's a little bit more fresh. I think T.Y. Hilton, again, he's never played with Phillip Rivers, right? This is going to be his first year. There's going to be a little more quarterback. Just on that alone, I mean, you just have to lean towards Rob because he knows Tom Brady so well. Yeah. Heavy offense. So let's talk about competition because OJ Howard's a piece of shit.
Let's talk about Tom Brady. He's a guy that I love. I see him bouncing back and being a top 5 quarterback. People are leaving him off their top 12 lists entirely. And I'm like, you're out of your mind. And then you have someone like Diana Rossini who's saying that she doesn't think Tampa Bay will even make the playoffs. And I'm like, I don't, again, but it scares me to say this because I got trapped on this last year with Baker Mayfield and the Browns. But it's like when you look at it on paper, how does this not add up to big numbers?
And I'm not even talking about winning games here now. We're just talking fantasy. I have no clue. I have no clue. That guy's going to be dropping back, banging it out. It's going to be short. By the way, people don't understand these short passes that he throws. They're still running after they catch him. You're still getting those yards.
Yeah.
And he throws good touchdowns. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. Yeah, he's not going to bomb it and get 40, 60, 70-yard touchdowns, but he's going to be consistent. And
I think this
year more people I don't trust
because he has Mike Evans going down the field with that fantastic wingspan. He didn't have any. If you remember, like Randy Moss, he would get it all. I mean, I know he's a lot older, but I'm saying like the last 2 years, who did he have down there to throw it to?
The last 4 years. I've never even seen Tom Brady with this amount of weapons. This guy could be a goddamn.
Edelman was a slot receiver. He was never going to be that far down the field.
No, listen, again, this is why the preseason really sucks for us, man. I would have loved to see him drive 3 times in week 3.
Just see it.
See what the fuck it looks like. Yes. But now we have to play Madden 2020 in our fucking head. And just assume, but I mean, I guess on paper is all we could do. Yeah, he has more weapons than he's ever had in his life.
Yeah.
And it could be scariest shit ever.
But I just don't see it going bad. Except for the running back thing, which I would stay away from all their running backs.
They're going to be throwing the ball.
Don't know who it's going to be.
Tremendous amount of time. Do they still have that other guy, too, the guy from USC over there?
Ronald Jones.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the wide receiver. Who's the other wide receiver that's with Mike Evans? Stud that I had last year.
Where is he?
I don't remember who he is, but he's a killer, man. He's got 2-3 wide receivers and a tight end. I like Rob too because let me tell you, man, the first few times he gets in that end zone, he's going to look for Rob.
Chris Godwin. Jesus Christ.
Godwin. Thank you.
And Godwin's going off the board way faster than Mike Evans, which again, they're judging it off of last season. We don't know who Brady's going to gel with. And in my opinion, he likes those big, strong receivers, like he's had before. Like, you know, they tried to make it work with
Yep.
Josh Gordon. They made it work with Randy Moss.
Right.
I mean, he definitely likes them. He just hasn't gotten, and I think it could be Mike Evans' year.
I
more
like
than
Mike
Chris
Evans.
Godwin's.
Listen, I'm with you on that. I think this whole offense is going to be something that you want a piece of. You want to invest in a piece of this offense at some point. And I think
But those running backs, they have that Keyshawn kid now, the rookie. But then they also brought in Shady McCoy.
Yeah. Don't even look at Shady. That's not even a person anymore. I don't even want him on draft boards. That guy's fucked me hell of times. Him and OJ Howard could go by. If I ever go walk into that locker room and I see both of them in the same room, I'm gonna just throw papers
just throw some eggs. Yeah, just be like, I need some eggs right now.
Yeah, here's the amount of money you two assholes owe me. Here's my Venmo. But yeah, dude, it's gonna be fun. I think this is gonna be a fun team to watch. A lot of fun, actually. Shit.
Yeah, man, for sure.
And what defenses are they really going into in that division too? It's going to be.
Let's talk defenses for a second. Are there any defenses that you're willing to go a little bit higher for?
I am what I've been yelled at by a lot of professionals that I get my defense. That's literally my last pick. I like to waste waiver wires, which I don't really waste them because I get them when they're just available, so I don't have to use my spot. I am a matchup guy with defense. I will grab a defense almost every week. I'll do new difference every couple weeks, and it's worked for me in the past. All I can do is talk about it's worked for me in the past, and I will grab a kicker before a defense, believe it or not.
Right.
And,
no, I think that's smart too. Especially a premium kicker can be a real difference maker. Like
kickers can fuck you.
Yeah.
And defenses can't too. Trust me, man. You don't want to be stuck there. But the thing about defense is you could do matchups. You can't really do matchups with kickers. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's true.
Like,
you have a good one that gets opportunities, or you don't.
Yeah. You know, you got one team that doesn't have a great defense, but they're playing the Dolphins or somebody that's or somebody that you could play. That's the only position you could play matchup. So I don't understand why people don't do it.
Well, because there are some, like for me, there's really only one defense that I would go high for, and that's Buffalo. Right. Because when you look at how destroyed the division is otherwise, who's he going to play against? The Jets, the Patriots, and the Dolphins.
Well, when is it time to grab that, though?
Well, for me, I would say, I mean, for a defense of that caliber, there's like those three defenses at the very top, Chicago, the Ravens, and Buffalo, which Chicago, I don't know, Chicago's fucked me. I don't trust Chicago.
They look great on the field, but I mean, they're not giving you those points on.
Yeah, I don't trust them anymore. But Buffalo, I think, is the one around. I mean, to get one of those guys, you got to go around round 8 or 9.
Yeah, that's too high.
Which is pretty high to go for
8 or 9. Yeah. I mean, you don't even have. I mean,
Well, and when you think about New England, wasn't one of those top-tier guys, and they wound up being like, over the first half of last season, they were the number 5 overall scoring player, in all of fantasy football. It was like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, somebody else, and then the New England defense.
And there's always a chance you could get strike with that. I mean, it doesn't happen often. That's not going to happen in a lot.
Well, for me, that possibility, maybe not immediately. They're going to have to get on the field. They're going to have to gel. But the Dallas Cowboys defense, I've been calling them the Expendables because they put together all these old stars. Yeah. And they're like, I think we still got a few hits left in them.
Yeah.
I mean, Dontari, go ahead.
You're not allowed to talk about anything Dallas Cowboys related when it comes to fantasy football. I could see the bias just coming out of your eyes.
I'm telling you, I don't normally draft Cowboys players. I rarely draft Zeke. I usually don't take Amari Cooper because I already care too much.
I like Amari Cooper, by the way.
I like Amari Cooper a lot this year too. But
I think
let's go to the rookies because one of the rookies that I think is in a good position, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, he's gonna be great. But then again, man, these overhyped rookies, they people make mistakes on them. They get them early, so it's not even value anymore.
Right, you have to wait for the value rounds to get them. You can't go early for these guys. But
other people get it.
Of all these rookies, wide receivers, because there's like 4 or 5 that everyone's losing their shit over. To me, the guy in the best position that is absolutely going to produce the highest potential for absolute production is Henry Ruggs III in Las Vegas.
In Vegas?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Vegas. Doesn't sound weird, huh?
Yeah.
Sounds weird. I mean, again, Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota does nothing for me needle-wise. I mean, it's just I mean, if Marcus Mariota is at quarterback, I mean, my God, have you seen that guy? And he's the most frustrating quarterback I've ever watched. I mean, I had to take a breath because the amount of times I just watched him just stare at me from the TV and like, go out there and play.
I know. It took him a long time to come to terms with it in Tennessee, too.
Can you believe they took him out and then they went to the championship? My God.
Although Tannehill, I hate it when they make Tannehill the man. I mean, if you look what happened in Miami, they gave him a bunch of money and then he sucked. Yeah. So that scares me a little bit.
I'm looking for wide receivers on really good offenses. So I mean, I don't know what Oakland's going to do. I know they're going to throw a lot of picks. That's all I know they're going to do. But yeah, I mean, look, I also like that guy that went from I like Thielen too. I kind of like Thielen because
Thielen's a bounce back candidate this first season for sure.
Yeah, these are the kind of guys that you've seen have done it in the past, and they kind of have similar situations where they could probably get it done again. But who was my other guy? I was trying to look for. Oh, you know who I like is this is not on the wide receiver note, but Kerryon Johnson, who's going undrafted in some league.
You and I are we're gonna part ways on the Kerryon road.
Undrafted here, buddy.
Dude, DeAndre Swift will be the number one running back. Probably around, I'm going to say by game 3, it'll be all DeAndre Swift.
Yes. Okay. Totally understand. But again, this guy hasn't. At the end of the day, though, I'm talking. You could get him at the last pick of the draft.
Oh, absolutely. He is hanging around down there doing nothing.
And who knows? I think
he's right next to fucking Shady McCoy.
I know, right there with And then sometimes you just have to make a decision because sometimes you're going to be sitting there with Kamara, and then you gotta handcuff him with like Murray and shit like that. So you're gonna have to make a decision. And sometimes it will bite you in the ass taking someone like Johnson. But that's an interesting thing that I can't believe that guy's going undrafted because I actually did see. I think he's pretty decent, and I think they're going to run the ball a little bit more in Detroit. But Swift, you're right. I mean, Swift. I
think Kerryon Johnson is in the Joe Mixon, boat.
But one's going drafted at the 10th and one's not getting drafted.
No, you're exactly. And for somebody that low, then yes, it's a flyer, it's a shot because he is going to start the season with the opportunity to be number one.
Correct. So, and he'll be a handcuff for Swift too. So if you got Swift, he's a must get. I mean, because
the rookie running back I really love this season of all of them is Jonathan Taylor. And I know Marlon Mack is down there with Kerryon Johnson as a guy you could potentially pick up late. That's still supposed to be the number one guy. Everyone's acting like they left the team or something, and they're still there. And Marlon Mack, when healthy, is still very, very good.
I think Marlon Mack is more of a one over there than Johnson is over in Detroit, though.
I think absolutely. But
I love that. That's a good call, though.
Jonathan Taylor, though, behind that line, because that is a fantastic line. I think Jonathan Taylor could be a game wrecker, but again, probably more towards the second half of the season.
That's true. But these are good values on running backs that you use early in your season too, especially if you're taking flyers on Kareem Hunts and all those guys where you're only you're going to get that production later. Yeah, these are a couple of guys that you get for literally nothing and start in week 1 or 2.
That's true. That's true. They're going to surprise a lot of people when they come out and do some things, and everyone's like, "But what about the rookies? We've been counting. We were,
few times where I booked that where I've drafted that rookie and waited all year for the guy and it just didn't happen. So
and that happens more than people expect. People think that the team's going to be like, all right, thank you, and then get out on the field. They're like, no, we like that guy.
Yeah. People acting like these NFL teams are going to call them up and ask you who they want to start for your fantasy football team this year. Like, why aren't they starting Swift? Yahoo told me Swift.
Yeah.
Yahoo's not coaching that motherfucker.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, this is great. And we have our draft on this Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific. I'm
going to be very excited. Are we going to do this on a Zoom or are we
Yes, I'm going to set up a Zoom. We're all going to be, whoever wants to be on the Zoom can be on the Zoom.
I'll be there.
So that I think is as close to a live draft as we're going to get. And I think that's exciting, man. This is going to be fun stuff.
I'm very excited for the league, and I love you. Congratulations on all your recent success. And I'm very excited for fantasy football this year, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And then I think everybody is going in here with a complete blind eye. Usually a couple of us will have edges over other players, like when we do our research, but not this year is going to be a crapshoot. So, I mean, we're going to have – and there's a lot of psychopaths in our league that will –
I actually watched the preseason because I think you see so many valuable little things in the preseason.
Of course, that week 3 game is crucial for gambling. And, I mean, you can't just – it's insane. I can't wait. I bet week 1 football, and I told my friends this, that I am slamming the under on all the games. I'm going to just board bet the under. I'm going to board bet it.
Okay.
I would be shocked if 3 game, you know, you're going to come up, you know, there's going to be, 60%. I would be shocked. I'm just going to board it because those motherfuckers aren't going to know what the hell is going on out there.
I know it's going to be a shit show week 1. There's going to be a lot of turnovers. There's going to be a lot of like 3 and outs, a lot of this, a lot of, I said,
yeah.
You know, get inside. You're supposed to go in.
Yeah. The only person you're not going to see do well is OJ Howard. I guarantee that. You can mark that down, that piece of shit.
Mark it. No OJ Howard.
But I'm excited, man. Thank you for including me, and I'm pumped for the football. And we'll check in
can't wait
to the league.
We will see you on Thursday night for the draft.
Love you, Greg. Thanks for having me. Big fan. I'll see you soon.
See you, buddy.